first, you are from Cardiff, no?
Yeah.
Okay. Bands as Manic Street Pictures or Stereophonics, I know it's a great bands, but I want to know which is your favorite Wales band.
I'd say my favorite Welsh band is Funeral for a Friend. I don't know if you remember those guys, but it was like 2003, 2005 kind of era. And they were just a wicked band. And they kind of like, I think they were like the coolest band to come out of Wales, you know?
I don't know, it's a current band or not?
No. It was like 2003, you know, like about 15 years ago, but they were called Funeral for a Friend. And they were just awesome, man. They were really good. They were really big as well, to be fair. But yeah, I love the Stereophonics. I love the Manic Street Preachers as well. So all Welsh music is good.
Your debut album, called Holding Absence, contained songs as Perish, were influenced at Suffering for Love and maybe in the metal, no? In metal genre. Do you consider it a dark album?
A dark album?
Dark album.
Yeah, I do. Lyrically, I do talk about quite deep, sad, negative things, you know, and I think for some people it might be a bit too much, you know. We don't write very happy music, I guess. But you know, I always think with our music, even though it sometimes is quite dark, I think you can learn from those things and add them to your life in like a hopeful, positive way, you know.
Okay. It's in black and white. This album.
The debut was, the
debut is only black and white. It's curious, no? It's why these colors only?
Yeah, we just wanted it to kind of be like, it didn't matter what we looked like or what, you know, it didn't matter if we were from the 1970s or from 2020, you know, we wanted it to kind of feel like quite timeless, I guess. And, you know, when you look at old photos of bands like, you know, Joy Division or the Beatles or whatever, you know, those bands, normally you'll see them in black and white. And that was kind of the idea, was we kind of wanted it to make us feel a bit less like, you know, it mattered that we were a new band. All we cared about was that people thought we were a good band, you know? Okay.
So last year, Holding Absence released 2 singles, Birdcage and Gravity. Why didn't you wait to publish them inside this new album?
Yeah, so, you know, these days, everybody, because of the internet, you know, everybody wants you to release music every month, you know, and like, you know, writing an album and then releasing it every 2 or 3 years is quite easy for people to forget about you. And basically we had these 2 songs and we just thought, let's just put them out there, you know, and then we kept working on the album in the background. But, you know, those 2 songs we thought were a really good thing to give people while they were waiting, I guess.
Okay. It seems to be a rap style, no? Release singles and the band continuing. People hear all the time the music of the band, no? Maybe it's an influence for you, this kind of way of things. Or...
Yeah, because, you know, I think rock music is quite stuck in its ways, you know, it's quite old fashioned. And like you said, with like hip hop and rap and stuff, they're really forward thinking. They collaborate with each other a lot, you know, you'll have collaborations all the time. They release music often as hell. And I think it's important that the rock industry actually embraces that, you know. So I'd love for bands to do collaborations with other bands more often in the future.
Do you have one collaboration, no, in this album? Do you have only one?
Yeah, but that's my sister, so it's a bit less,
your sister.
You know. Which is really special. Yeah.
It sounds very well, eh?
Yeah,
it sounds very well. Yeah.
It fit more on like a personal level, you know. We knew, you know, like what I was saying about collaborations, and it's normally you and another big band and you're trying to share each other's fans and trying to make a big thing, you know. But whereas with my sister being on the album, it was just a case of I just knew I wanted a female voice, and who better than to do it than my sister, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, so about your new album, The Greatest Mistake of My Life, I think that a song as Afterlife sounds like The Cure. Maybe it's the it's the typical question. Maybe no. All the in all the interviews, maybe you can receive this question. But do you think they have influenced you?
Yeah, The Cure are one of my favorite bands and one of our favorite bands ever. You know, so they've definitely inspired little parts of our music, and it's nice because when you write music inspired by other artists, you don't want it to sound the same, you know, like you don't want to sound like all your favorite bands. You want to kind of take that inspiration and make it your own, I guess.
It's another sound, no? But the influence it's still there.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the perfect midpoint, is like taking inspiration and making it into something yourself. So I'm glad that you could hear that.
And in future pieces, do you think you will put even more influences in the 80s era?
I think so. You know, as we progress as a band, we're always trying to evolve our sound and always trying to make things feel a bit more fresh. So maybe that is something that we'll look into. And I think the other thing to say as well is, like, with the 80s kind of influence or the shoegaze kind of influence, it's very much like,
you have talked about Joy Division before. Maybe Joy Division
they're one of my favorite bands as well. Yeah, and like I do think it's like the atmosphere of the music rather than the parts, you know. So, for example, our songs might not sound like The Cure, but the backing music might sound like The Cure and stuff like that. And it's whether we kind of put more attention on the atmospherics than the vocals, for example. You know what I mean? So yeah,
it's more epic. In this album, I realized that you sing more epic vocals, no, than the other albums.
Thank you. Yeah, I definitely tried to push myself, and I think we had a really good relationship with our producer as well. So he really got the best out of me, and I think you can tell on this album for sure.
Okay. One thing that surprised me is that in the Afterlife video, your face appear all the time. Why did you do that?
I guess it's just I don't know, like, videos are weird because you always try and do something new, and you always try and do something you've never done before as well. So with these new videos, we just try to challenge ourselves, I guess.
And new colors, no? I have with Black and White is the first album, and now is a colors as gray or red colors. Is maybe the photography director talk about this, or do you want that these colors is in this way, or why these colors?
We always just wanted to kind of evolve, you know, and take what we had and make it even better, you know. And we always tried to go for quite epic, cinematic, like kind of vibes. And I think what is more epic and cinematic than the kind of colors that we chose and stuff like that, you know.
Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
I'd love to just keep doing what we're doing and just get bigger and better every album, you know. I think for me and for the rest of the band, you know, we love writing music, we love playing music, and you know, I know everybody says it, but it isn't about success really, you know. It's just about being able to have fun, and I think we're lucky because the way the band has gone over the last few years, like, we've been allowed to do lots of special things, you know, and like, for example, you know, we've played Europe quite a lot, you know, and I've been to places that I'd never seen before, and I'd love to, in 5 years' time, I'd love to have gone to America, Australia, you know, Japan, even Spain, Japan. You know. Yeah.
Spain. Is there any possibility to play in Spain in the future?
We'd love to, you know, and the moment that we can, we will. It's just, you know how it is. When the booking agents route the tours, a lot of the time it's like hard to come down to Spain and then go back up. So fingers crossed we can come down someday.
In October, you are in tour, in Europe tour, no?
Yeah.
You will play in France, I guess. France and Spain is near.
I'll have to have a word. Yeah.
Okay. Holding Absence appear in a lot of music magazines. Every day in Kerrang or another media, you appear making interviews or news. Why do you think you enjoy this success?
I think it's just, you know, I think, for example, with Kerrang and Rock Sound as well, you know, those two have been really, really supportive of us. And I think it's just because in Britain, we always try and look after our own, you know. You think of all the brilliant British rock bands that have existed over the last 10, 20, 30 years, you know, there's always like a little bit of extra pride on top. So I think for example, with Kerrang, because we're like a British band, you know, I think they want to push us that little bit more because we're one of their people, you know, if that makes sense. But I think we're just lucky as well. We're really fortunate that people care about our band, and I love talking. So I don't shut up. So you know, so it works out, I guess.
Okay, perfect. It's very important for you appearing in the media, I believe, no?
It's wicked, yeah. It's really fulfilling on a personal level to be able to, you know, see my face on the, you know, I grew up reading Kerrang. You know, I used to go to the shop every week and buy a copy of this. So being on the front cover of this, like, mind blowing to me.
Okay. Your life in Cape Heat and East London Dive Bar was amazing. I really like.
Thank you very much, man. Thank
you. Was very difficult to you have played in a short stage?
Yeah, it was a bit squishy. Yeah. I think the hardest thing was just that we hadn't played a show for nearly a year at that point, you know. And we miss playing shows so much. So it was a really, really wonderful experience, but I just wish that we didn't have to wait so long for it to happen, you know.
When did you play? The last summer or when?
The last show we did was December 2019.
Oh,
which is a long time ago. Yeah,
a long time ago. Okay, okay. Your next tour, I talked it, will be in October. Are you optimistic about it?
I'm as optimistic as I can be, you know, because I really want to come over, and I really want to, you know, have to live off of crisps in service stations, you know, and have to like sleep on floors and stuff, you know. I miss all of that. So yeah.
This weekend in Barcelona, it was a festival with 5,000 people. It's an experiment with the band named Love Lesbian. But it's the first show in the last year with crowded. No? In Great Britain, which is the situation? Are there any show or festival or?
Maybe over the next few months. You know, I think next month we're expecting things to start opening up a little bit, and I think maybe like July, I think some festivals are trying to go ahead. So fingers crossed. But I don't know. You don't know until it happens, really. You know, like there'll come a day where shows will just be back and we'll be like, hey, you know. But that could be November, that could be July, that could be next January for all I know. So I'm just hoping the sooner the better, you know.
Okay, but in this moment, your tour it's in
hopefully
October. In October.
Yeah. You're a great man.
Gareth Bale lived for
Madrid
10 years in Spain, and I never hear one Spanish word about. But
Yeah, he's Welsh, man.
It's
yeah.
very difficult for the Spanish talk English, and for Britain people English. Talk Spanish.